Once again, Janet Kuypers. Hello. I would like to read two from another book, because I have them, and I'd just like to share. This is a performance art collection book. It's poetry from a bunch of different shows over different years. In a chapter 1828 series, this is chapter 48, volume 1. And I was going to read 3 micro prose pieces from the first show that is listed in this book, which is a show called One Act. So, just so you know. This first piece is called Leaving for Work. You're walking down the street, it's morning, and a man tries to mug you with a knife. It's a nice street, you're thinking. There's no litter here. There are garbage days, the same day as your sister's in the suburbs. How strange. You pause, don't know how to react to this mugger guy, and another guy walks up behind you, another regular Joe. He's not with a mugger guy trying to jump you. He was just walking down the street, probably on his way to work, like you. So then this mugger guy tries to mug him, too. So the other guy pulls out a gun, this regular Joe, and then a lady from the house on the street calls 911. And you're thinking to yourself, why does this regular Joe have a gun? And who should you be more afraid of now? Is any of this real? It almost seems like TV. And then the policemen come in like 2 minutes, and you're safe then. And then the mugger guy is still there with this regular Joe with a gun that's keeping him there by holding this gun to him. And then you're just talking to one of the police officers, and then the other guy on the scene sees the mugger guy stab the regular Joe with this knife. And so, I've lost my spot. He's trying to wrestle, but then he starts to wrestle for the gun. And the mugger guy then shoots the guy with the gun while in the struggle. And the cop, the other cop, shoots and kills the mugger guy. And you're just standing there on the street, less than 10 feet away from all of this. All of this just happened on the street, right in front of you. You didn't even get to say a word. Who is dead? Who is alive? What just happened? Are you scared? This is America, you think, and you don't know whether to laugh or cry. And then you hear a car engine start, and you look over, and just a few cars away, a person is leaving for work. Thank you. This one is called Park Bench. I saw you at the park bench. Every day you would go to that one bench, reading the paper, feeding the pigeons, minding your own business. Every day I would watch you. I knew how you adjusted your glasses. I knew how you crossed your legs. I had to come out of hiding. I had to know you. I had to have a name to your face. So before you came to the park bench, I sat down and pulled out a newspaper. I looked up when I heard your footsteps, and I knew that they were your footsteps. You walked to another bench. No, you couldn't sit there. That's not how the story goes. You have to sit here. The next day I waited for you before I made my move. You walked over to the bench. I strolled up to the other side, trying to act aloof. I sat down only 3 feet away from you. I pulled out my day-old paper. My eyes burned through the pages. I felt your breath streaming down my body. I heard your eyelids open and close. Your heat radiated toward me. I casually looked away from the paper. You were gone.
Oh.
I was different. This one's called Warring Nations. For us, it was cheaper to take a bus tour with a group visa when visiting your country. I thought it was strange. We had been mortal enemies for decades, and now here I am on a bus. You try to show me your splendors as I look through my rectangular window in this mass transport. I watched the streets out the bus window. Thin black cores were randomly thrown, scattered along the edges of the grayed sky. When you looked up at the sky here, upwards of 15 cables for all of the power-generated trains crisscrossed the hanging light cables down every street, and cables multiplied at every intersection. I wondered if the Marine I came with would have a heightened defense from his Cold War, against this Cold War country, but I think he was more interested in buying a bottle of potato vodka. I wondered, the bus would stop. I would snap photos like some tacky American tourist trying to photograph any low buildings that I could. Here, buildings could not be built tall. This was the protocol. They had to be protected. This is what protected them from all the air attacks during World War II. The bus drove me throughout the town for more highlights. After we'd take a corner from the government buildings or the colorful churches, I tried to catch photographic glimpses of paint-peeled, brick-exposed, dilapidated buildings, when this country was really about what it was all about when the doorsteps cracked open and separated from the sidewalks. The bus wouldn't stop at Nevsky Prospect, so I could see Alice Rosenbaum's childhood home. So before we left, I wanted to ask the woman any questions. Her English was good. She even described the weather that day to me as capricious, which impressed me. Capricious, impulsive, unpredictable. That's how she described that day. After photographing stop signs in foreign languages from around the world, I wanted to photograph a stop sign here. I asked her where there would be a stop sign, and she told me they did not have stop signs here. Everyone just slows down for oncoming traffic. She also said they also do not have parking meters in the city. People just park where they need to and go about their business. She told me that in this part of the country, rents for one-bedroom apartments was about $100 a month. Factory workers or mechanical employees only made about $300 a month. This is why there are no at-home housewives. Everyone had to work to afford keeping their children fed and clothed in the one-bedroom flats. She also said people in the service industries in this country, teachers, doctors, make only $200, even less than the factory workers. I continued observing on this bus ride. They painted their buildings such pretty colors, yellow, pink. They painted columns on the buildings, which had none. Anything to make things look more elegant or more cheerful, I suppose. I saw your weaponry on display, reminding me that we were enemies. If you couldn't kill us in war, you were pleased with injuring us. It took some of our soldiers to help save our... It took some of our soldiers to help save our sick, then bury our dead, leaving us weaker and more vulnerable to our enemies. You still have keep your war relics, I see. Then again, so do I. You show off your best features today. Your idolatry for your motherland shows through in the way you prettied your exteriors for us. But your country takes over half of the money that you say you can barely afford to live on. They indoctrinate you by saying that this is what's best for you. You have no other options. I suppose under these conditions, you can become so dependent on them that you have no choice but to idolize them. I saw a statue as we were leaving town on the bus of a man helping another fallen man. It made me think of how people in your country with next to nothing seem to have no choice but to help their fellow man because they, like them, are falling. I looked for happiness in the painted exteriors of your buildings. I believe that because of them, because of where you are from, because of what you believe, you only have happiness because you are so used to nothing. When you have nothing, anything is a gift. We Americans want too much, and we always expect to be happy. I suppose that means you'd be let down as less often than we. The Marine bought an imperial vodka. I bought a miniature Ballerica. And it was a point at half hour before it was midnight here. It was actually still light out. After seeing how you lived that day, I felt like reveling in capitalism. So at 11:30 at night, in daylight, I sat in a hot tub and we docked at these communist shores.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you.